Russia's President Vladimir Putin has turned up the rhetoric overnight. In a speech delivered in Moscow, Putin warned of a dangerous and unpredictable decade ahead. He also claimed that the Western world's period of undivided domination is coming to an end. Here's more of what he had to say.
Now the historical period of undivided dominance of the West in world affairs is coming to an end. The unipolar world is becoming a thing of the past. We are at a historical turning point. Ahead, there is probably the most dangerous, unpredictable, and at the same time important decade since the end of World War II.
On that point, he might just be right. Let me catch up now with Strategic Analysis Australia, Michael Shoebridge. Michael, thanks for joining us. There's no doubt, of course, the unipolar world is dead with the rise of China, but what role does Vladimir Putin see Russia playing in all of that?
Well, Chris, what a fascinating thing. Before he started his war in Ukraine, he could have made a reasonable case that Russia is back as a strong, assertive power. But really, I got whiplash reading his speech because he's turned what he thinks about the war in Ukraine upside down from February. Remember, he started this war saying it was about saving the Ukrainians from themselves and about re-establishing a greater Russia, an expansionist, powerful Russia. And in this speech in his Valdai discussion group, he says Russia's goal now is not to have itself wiped off the geopolitical map and be destroyed.
Well, that's right.
So
this is the extraordinary thing to me about the speech. I mean, I think he's right to talk about what a dangerous place the world is now, and the next decade being crucial is partly, of course, his doing. But yeah, he's flipped it so that Russia is now the power under threat. Under threat because of an expansionist war it started.
Well, and also the exposure of Russian military weakness. Before he started his war, there was a unified assessment that Russia was far more military capable than we know they are now. So he talked about new centres of power, and he means Moscow and Beijing, but really he's looking more and more like Beijing's junior partner, and he must know that.
Yeah, now just coming closer to our region, there's been a lot of, I think, hyperventilating about what the Secretary of Defence in the US, Lloyd Austin, has said about AUKUS. I think his remarks are really encouraging because he placed a lot of store in AUKUS. But of course, if there are American submarines and ships floating around our part of the world, the Pacific, we do assume that they're nuclear arms. The idea that the Americans would have nuclear weapons in our region is not new, is it?
No, it isn't. Really, I think we've got to remember the pretty recent past. So Australia and Japan and South Korea all depend on US extended deterrence, and that means their nuclear weapons. And we have a role in making US nuclear deterrence effective. You know, the Germans during the Cold War played the same role in Europe. They allowed deployment of US forces, including nuclear-capable forces. They also had German aircraft that were nuclear capable. So if we want the benefits of US extended deterrence, we have to bear some of the burden. And it's a good thing to have the US talk about a vital interest that they want to use their nuclear deterrence to protect, including those of their allies.
Absolutely. It should help us all sleep more securely at night. Thanks for joining us, Michael. I appreciate it.